50 primary universal laws are examined in this article. Natural and moral laws, which are vibrations that keep things in order, keep the universe perfectly balanced. You can be sure that things will turn out well in the end when you follow the laws. You can expect suffering when the laws are broken, which is only meant to show you a better way. The law of harmony is number 1. Harmony is the highest form of balance, so this rule is more important than even the basic rule of karma. Karma's goal is to bring about unity. When you throw a rock into a pond, you mess up the balance of the water. You set off the impact, which is the splash and the ripples that go out and back, until everything is back to normal. In the same way, your bad karma flows out into the universe and then back to you, lifetime after lifetime, until your own harmony is restored. So, as you live your life, you and the whole universe are also experiencing the karmic ripples. These will finally lead to harmony once you have evolved enough to live a lifetime in harmony. You are no longer stuck in the cycle of rebirth. Number 2. Karma and the law of reincarnation. You will keep reincarnating into successive lifetimes on earth until you have satisfied your Dharma and fixed your karma. You are not going to suffer in this life because of God or the lords of karma. You are the only one who can decide what you need to learn most in this life, and for each experience you look for other souls, often with similar pasts and always with karma arrangements that match your needs. Now, whenever you do something on purpose, you make karma. Actions include thoughts, feelings, words, and deeds. Each harmful action has a reason, an intent, and a wish that needs to be balanced in the future, either in this life or in a future life. The feelings that cause them come from fear, and you have to get rid of them before you can stop being reborn. You come back to this world over and over to see if you have learned your lessons. You will keep reincarnating until you can live a whole lifetime with no unhealthy attachments at all. To put it another way, you will be free when you can live a life of perfect peace. Number 3. The wisdom law. Wisdom clears the past. You can lessen your pain if you are smart enough to learn your lessons through love and knowledge. Sadly, though, we seem to learn best when we are in pain and can see the direct results of our deeds. For example, you take from others out of greed. Instead of learning through love and knowledge that this is wrong, you have to directly experience someone taking from you out of greed, either later in this life or in a future life. Another way to look at the law of knowledge is that when you are about to face a test that was meant to be there, if you have the knowledge to move forward in harmony, the test will have less of an effect on you. Now let's look at some examples. Number 1. You were married to the person who is now your mate in your past life, but you hurtfully left them for someone else. In the life you lived before this one, before you were born, you agreed to be left by your partner in the same way. Now, this will help you balance your karma and feel the pain of being left behind. If the Master of Life Awareness makes it easier to consciously separate from the love relationship, it will make the breakup less painful and help you pass your tests. Example number 2. Let's say that your horoscope says that you will face a tough relationship test in May of your 35th year. In this life and the next, you may have learned to be positive, not judgmental, and not set any standards for your partner. If you do this, you may only have an argument with your partner on that fateful May day. You might get a divorce in May of your 35th year, though, if you haven't learned from your mistakes and have made things worse in your relationship. The third example is that you were so proud in several past lives that you wouldn't take help from anyone. Right now, pride is fear. Because of this, the stars have planned for something to happen in this life that will put you in a mental hospital for a long time. On a deeper level, you've chosen that you need to make things happen that will make you swallow your pride and let other people give to you. But because you are wise in this life, you have gotten over your pride and opened your heart to others, willingly taking their help. You will not have to go to jail to learn your lesson because of this. The karma will be gone thanks to wisdom. The law of grace, number 4. To the letter of the law, or in kindness and grace, karma can be felt. This means that if you show love, kindness and grace to others, you will get the same back. Okay, let me give you a few examples. Example 1. You have made it so that slander and gossip will happen to you in the future, which will ruin your job. But in the years leading up to this event, you have become so loving and kind to other people that your greater self knows you have learned your lesson. In other words, the planned event will be lessened so that it doesn't have much of an effect on you. To give you another example, imagine that in a past life you were very wealthy and used it to spoil yourself and your family. This life is meant for you to have money problems, but you are still giving what little you have. You free yourself from the chains you put on yourself and rise materially again, always giving what you have to people who need it. The law of soul evolution is number 5. The goal of soul development is the same for everyone, even if they don't know it. We have been reborn because we want to grow spiritually by getting over our fear-based feelings and learning how to love others, no matter what. We move closer to a state of unity and raise our vibrational rate at the same time. You are actually making progress, even when it doesn't look like you are. The pain of our bad actions, which could be seen as mistakes or fails, teaches us. But if you fell off your bike 9 times before you finally got it right on the 10th try, you needed 9 mistakes before you finally got it right. Every time you failed, it was actually a small win that brought you closer to your goal. Number 6. The Bodhisattva law. Most philosophical experts today agree that the Sanskrit term Bodhisattva comes from. This word refers to someone who has gone beyond the need for reincarnation, but was still picked to come back to earth to help other people become enlightened. A bodhisattva knows that he will not be truly free until all souls are free. Most serious metaphysics students are now in the stage of growth called bodhisattva. The law of vibrational attainment is number 7. Vibrational energy is the same thing that drives the whole universe. Einstein made it possible for science and philosophy to come together when he found that matter is energy. Scientists have shown that energy doesn't die, it just changes forms. And energy can't just stand still, it has to move forward or backward, because staying still is stagnation, which leads to change. Right now, your power. Your skin looks solid, but it's actually made up of trillions of molecules moving quickly around each other at a certain vibrational rate. This is the physical life rate you earned in the past, based on how well or poorly you've lived your past lives and this life up to this point. Law of free will, number 8. There are 3 ways that the law of free will works. Number 1. Many of the big events in your life are predetermined by astrology, but you always have the power to lessen their effects or go beyond them completely. This is what will happen because of how you live your life up to the point where you will experience it. You can reduce the number of bad things that happen to you if you show others kindness and mercy, are positive, loving, and compassionate, and act in a way that shows you've learned from past mistakes. Number 2. As you get better at being aware of your life and practice conscious detachment, social events will have much less of an effect on you than they did before. A master of life takes pleasure in all the good things that life has to offer and separates himself from the bad by letting it pass through him without affecting him. Number 3. You always have the choice of how to react to anything. If you react with kindness, honesty, and positive emotions, you will likely have learned your lesson and won't have to go through the same thing again. The law of one is number 9. The level of the collective unconscious is deep within the higher self and is linked to all souls, alive and dead. We are all part of God, which is a big shape of energy. Since we are part of God, we are God. The goal of the Gestalt is to make more energy by moving the energy forward. So when we all live together in peace, we each raise our own vibrational rate, and the whole Gestalt's vibration gets stronger. We lower the energy of the whole Gestalt when we are out of sync, because we are one. Every soul is affected by what you think, say, and do, as well as your intention, desire, and drive behind those things. The law of manifestation is represented by number 10. Everything that comes into being starts as an idea or a thought. Beliefs are formed by ideas and experiences, and those beliefs shape your world. If you don't like the way things are now, you need to change what you think and how you act. When you realize which beliefs aren't serving you, you can change them and start programming the ones that will. This will lead to success and peace in your life. You can rise above your karma by training, being dedicated, and being aware of your mind's endless creative power. You can create any world you want, as long as it doesn't go against physical laws. To change your behavior, first choose the unhealthy habits you want to get rid of. Then, remember that you don't have to change how you feel about something in order for it to change, if you want to change what you want to do. Number 11. The law of isolation of the mind. One of his earthly teachings best sums up these teachings. It is your resistance to what is that causes your suffering. By suffering, he meant everything that doesn't work in your life, like relationship problems, losing loved ones, being alone, getting sick, having an accident, feeling guilty, having trouble with money, having unfulfilled desires, and so on. When you accept what is, you don't fight the things that are in your life that you can't change. Some things are facts, which means they are true, and you can't change them no matter how hard you try. You should change what you can change, but you should also be smart enough to accept things as they are and not waste your time or energy trying to change things you can't. Acceptance leads to detachment, which means being able to enjoy all the good things in life while letting the bad things run through you without fighting them or letting them affect you. Number 12. The law of being thankful. It is said that the more you give, the more you will receive through karma and the law of one. You help yourself more when you help other people. This law has power that you can use in your everyday life. Number 13. The law of friendship. Getting two or more people with similar vibes together for a common goal increases the amount of energy they use to reach that goal by 2, 3, 4 or more times. This kind of esoteric knowledge has been used by healing groups, covens, and more lately, meditations for peace around the world. The law of resistance is number 14. What you try to avoid, you will bring to you, and it will have an effect on your life forever. Fear is what makes people resist. To get rid of the law of resistance through karma, you have to face your fear and let it go until you have to deal with it by learning conscious detachment. Now, let me give you a few examples. Example 1. You are very resistant to your mother-in-law, which makes you fight with her all the time. The problem will be solved once you learn life awareness and stop fighting her by consciously separating from the bad things. Changing your point of view can help you get out of most bad scenarios. You can usually get rid of the effects of a problem by changing the way you look at it. You don't have to deal with a problem if it doesn't affect you anymore. There may be no change in the problem situation right now, but another part of the law of resistance says that what you fight, if not in this life, then in a future one, you become. So, as case number 2, you have a strong resistance toward people of the Asian race. Your resistance is fear, and the quickest way to beat fear is to directly experience that which you find so fearful. Thus, you will reincarnate as an Asian in a future lifetime. Number 15. The law of attraction. Where your attention goes, your energy moves. You attract what you are, and not what you focus upon. If you are negative, you draw in and feel negativity. If you are loving, you draw in and experience life. You can only attract to you those qualities you possess. So, if you want peace and harmony in your life, you must become peaceful and harmonious. Number 16. The law of reflection. This law says that the traits you respond to in others, you recognize in yourself, both positive and negative. It has 4 primary manifestations. Number 1. That which you admire in others, you recognize as existing within yourself. Number 2. That which you resist in others and react too strongly in others is surely to be found within yourself. Number 3. That which you resist and react to in others is something which you were afraid exists within you. Number 4. That which you resist in yourself, you will dislike in others. In other words, you have chosen to incarnate upon the manifest plane to learn to rise above the effects of fear. Those fears will always be reflected in your reactions to others. Your goals are very obvious once you recognize how to perceive them. As you let go of the fear, you automatically open to expressing more unconditional life. Number 17. The law of unconditional life. The expression of unconditional love will eventually result in harmony. Unconditional love is not romantic love. It's the acceptance of others as they are without judgment or expectations. It's the total acceptance of others without attempting to change. The law of unconditional love says, if you go out of your way to express unconditional love, you automatically rise above fear, and as you transcend your fears, you automatically open to the expression of unconditional love. Number 18. The law of magnetic affinities. By astrologically choosing the time and place of your birth, you determine the nature of the effects you will experience in your life. On the other side, before you were born, you made decisions about the lifetime you would be entering into. You chose your parents, other souls to interact with you, and the astrological configurations of your birth, which determine your character, personality, abilities, restrictions, and timing for strengths and weaknesses. If all of this seems too complicated to be real, be aware that you are only using 5 to 10% of the capacity of your brain, and the brain-mind researchers say the human brain has 200,000 times the capacity of the greatest computer ever built. Such calculations as I've just described would be no problem for such a computer. Number 19. The law of abundance. You have within yourself everything required to make your earthly incarnation a paradise if you choose to accept that which is your natural birthright. We live in a universe of abundance, although the majority of those populating our planet appear to view it as a universe of scarcity. Number 20. The law of divine order. If you seek to understand the law of divine order, study the natural balance, for it works very much the same way. Everything is as it should be, although mankind is far from experiencing its potential of total harmony. There are no accidents. Your energy translated into thoughts, words, and motions and deeds causes all your experiences. This assures that you always have the learning opportunities you require to resolve your karma. And as with you, the collective thoughts, words, emotions, and deeds of mankind create the environment for us all. If enough souls focus their energy upon peace, we will have peace. If the majority of souls are filled with anger, we may all have to experience war. We are all one, and like the many sub-personalities within you, the dominant traits of mankind will emerge to resolve our group karma. At this moment, a born-again Christian evangelist preaches fear from a pulpit in West Virginia, while a yoga instructor directs a loving group meditation in Oregon. One is directing the energy of the Gestalt into disharmony, the other into harmony. Hopefully, at least one can cancel out the other. If we can't attain harmony, maybe we can balance the disharmony. Certainly, as New Agers, you must not give up, individually or collectively. As always, fear is the problem, and love is the answer. Number 21. The law of attitude. Nothing in the universe can harm you but your own attitude. It is your attitude that moves you toward events and experiences, and it's your attitude that will worsen or lighten any event, catastrophe, or tragedy. You and you alone choose the attitude with what you will respond. No two people would respond to the same situation in the same way. Every earthly incarnation includes traumatic experiences, and the better you understand the working of karma, the more likely you will be to put events into a spiritual perspective. Number 22. The law of threes. It is generally recognized as positive and negative, and becomes a law only when combined with a neutralizing force. When three become a unit, neither of the original two is more powerful or larger, and each behaves for itself and the benefit of the whole. Examples are Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, conscious mind, subconscious mind, and superconscious mind, mother, father, and child. When a man and woman are combined with the neutralizing state of marriage, they become a three. Number 23. The law of association. If two or more units have something in common, the commonality can be used to influence or control the other thing. The amount of control depends upon the degree of commonality. The more in common they both are, the more the influence. As an example, if you pray while holding a Bibli, you will be more likely to experience a spiritual connectedness. The Bible and prayer share a commonality. As another example, proper diet and exercise share the commonality of perceived good health, which is more likely to manifest as the result of your assumption. Number 24. The law of commitment. When you become clearer on your intent, making a decision, and obligating yourself to a task or a belief, everything begins to fall into place if your direction is in harmony with the universe as it relates to your purpose. Now, once you have pledged this direction, things begin to happen almost magically, as if you were a magnet drawing into your experience that which is needed for manifestation. The key to this ultimate power is to have no indecisiveness at all, and the greater your emotional desire, the more power you will give to those on the other side who can assist you, and the more rapidly the manifestation. Number 25. The law of dissonance. It says that you are going to experience mental discomfort when you hold conflicting beliefs, or when your actions don't agree with your beliefs. As an example, you believe that smoking is bad for your health, yet you continue to smoke. You believe that extramarital affairs are morally wrong, and yet you continue to be involved with someone on the side. You believe that you should be a more patient mother, yet you continue to yell at your children. The law says that when your beliefs and actions are incompatible, you will attempt to reduce the resulting discomfort by changing either your actions or your beliefs. The smoker will become an ex-smoker, or he will deny or rationalize the health threat. The adulteress will either stop or rationalize her actions, maybe by saying, "What my husband doesn't know won't hurt him, and besides, with my needs more fulfilled, I'm a better wife." The impatient mother changes her behavior or rationalizes her attitude by saying, "It's better for me to yell and release the anger than to repress it." The law of dissonance is sometimes called the law of self-delusion. Number 26. The law of experience. It says that new information entering your mind destroys previous information of a similar nature. Once a pathway of information has been established in your brain, that viewpoint will prevail unless new information comes in to destroy and replace it. As an example, while horseback riding, you fall off and hurt yourself. Now, if that's the end of your experience with horses, your experience has been programmed negatively. That's why instructors always urge new riders to climb back aboard immediately after falling off. You need fresh new input to erase the trauma of the fall. The law is an innate organic process that does not require your conscious attention or active participation. It suggests that the basic processes of the brain are in an endless state of growth and reorganization. Now, the law of experience can be used effectively in altered states of consciousness programming, because your subconscious cannot tell the difference between fantasized experience and a real experience. So, as an example, if you always feel extreme anxiety in crowds, in an altered state, you could vividly imagine yourself perfectly relaxed in a crowd of people. Your mind will accept this as a reality and invoke the law of experience. After a few days, weeks, or months of this programming, your mind will have totally experienced being calm in crowds, and it will carry over into your personal reality. Number 27. The law of fearful confrontation. This law says that if you fear doing something and yet have the courage to do it anyway, you will assume a mental flip-flop and may even become addicted to doing it. As an example, if you fear skydiving but force yourself to do it, the experience generates the internal release of beta endorphins. These internally manufactured opiates chemically resemble opium and are quite addicting. The more you skydive, the more you will want to skydive, or ski straight down mountains, or gamble, or whatever it was that you originally feared, and that still causes you this internal rush. Number 28. The law of group consciousness. Every one of us is part of a great energy gestalt and connected on the level of the collective unconscious. Each individual aspect of the gestalt has its own electrical system, its own vibrational frequency, and interacts with all other aspects. Thus, we are all electrically connected to one another and to a central point, our higher self or psychic level. It is possible for anyone to tune into anyone else and to draw upon the awareness of the entire gestalt. Like the concept of the 100th monkey, mankind takes advancing steps when group consciousness reaches a critical mass and new awareness is accepted by the whole. Number 29. The law of personal return. Although this law is really just another way to view karma, some people prefer it. It says if you think negatively of someone or send hateful thoughts to them, the thoughts may harm the person, but in due course they will return to the sender. The same is true of disarmed onerous deeds. But the good news is, the law of personal return also works in reverse, and positive thoughts, words, and deeds will be returned to the sender. Number 30. The law of activity. It says that action is the result of thought and part of a triad. Every thought produces an alchemical process in your consciousness and is the manifestation of motive, intent, or desire. This union of two is necessary for action and will ordain the karmic implications. Number 31. The law of denial. It says when you refuse to deal with a highly emotional issue or refuse to take responsibility for an unpleasant situation, you avoid living up to your potential. Such things can be put off for lifetimes, but the effect will be experienced mentally, physically, or as a lifestyle manifestation until you correctly balance the situation. Number 32. The law of new beginnings. It says that for each of us in our time, there are major life turning points. There is a break in the energy wave patterns, and a complete change will result. Everything is affected by this change in flux, some things to a lesser degree than others. Examples would be a traumatic situation or tragedy, such as the death of a loved one, a religious conversion, a point in therapy when something clicks, and from that time on, the patient begins to get well. For a mother, giving birth to a baby. Number 33. The law of compensation. It says that you and you alone are responsible for everything that happens to you. All is the result of your past thoughts, words, and deeds, which have formed your present attitude. Your attitude towards life and life experiences has returned to you in the form of rewards or problems, as love and joy, or as confusion, trouble, and heartbreaking experience. These karmic rewards or punishments can be delivered immediately, at a later date in your present life, or in a future incarnation. Number 34. The law of psychometric influence. It says that two things, animate or inanimate, once in contact with each other, will continue to act upon each other even at a distance, long after the actual contact has been severed. Matter coming into contact with other matter absorbs and influences as a result of the contact. There is a psychometric blending of the etheric emanations. Thus, the person wearing a piece of inherited jewelry will be influenced by the psychometric emanations of the original owner. The more empathic the person is, the more likely she will be to be influenced by the state of mind of the original owner. As another example, when the contact takes place between two people, the intensity of the contact will dictate the degree and duration of the influence. So, a sexual union would result in a lengthy mental connection of the two people, even if they did not see each other again. Neither might recognize this consciously, but on an unconscious level, contact and influence continue. Number 35. The law of totality. It says that each part of a totality has its own characteristics, and also takes on the characteristics of the totality. As a sum of its parts, each part thus has two functions: to retain its own characteristics and a function as part of the totality. When separated, each part remains connected to the totality, and because it retains the characteristics of the totality, it can perform as the totality. Now, you may not realize this yet, but since you are part of God, you contain the potential to perform as God. This law is often expressed as the law of one. Number 36. The law of dominant desire. It says that a stronger emotion will always dominate a weaker one. Every idea you perceive as the beginning of a manifestation, although all ideas are not expressed in reality. It doesn't matter which idea you consciously favor or even know to be desirable. The stronger emotion will nullify the weaker ones, and the strongest emotion will begin to permeate all aspects of your activities. As an example, if you are emotionally focused upon the sexual desirability of a particular person, you may begin to create circumstances in many life areas which will increase the likelihood of an eventual sexual union. Number 37. The law of duality. It says the universe and all energy functions as a yin-yang balance, resulting in a tension between opposites. Yin is negative, yang is positive, and we all contain these dual aspects, expressed as love and hate, harmony and chaos, good and evil. Actually, this tension is necessary for structure to exist, and human beings are energy structures. Now, don't be mistaken and think in terms of negative being bad. An automobile battery is a good analogy. One plate is charged positive, the next negative, the next positive, and so on. It's the interaction between the plates that generates the energy, but the negative plate is not better than the positive plate. Now, in relating this to your life, you must realize that without tension, you don't exist. Thus, there is a need for yin balance in your life. Most people express their yin energy in undesirable ways, such as self-denial, excess hard work, gambling, dangerous activities such as driving too fast, or in arguing or fighting. Illness is an expression of yin energy, and war is the ultimate expression of mass yin's energy. But your yin energy can be expressed in a different way, as positive challenge, and this is best explained in the next law. Number 38. The law of self-destruction. It says, as a natural expression of the law of duality, that which is totally successful tends to destroy itself. Now you know this subconsciously, so there is no way you dare allow your relationships or career or spirituality to become totally successful. You realize if you reach that pinnacle, you greatly increase the potential for self-destruction. Now, here are some examples. 1. History proves that any country that has ever reached a peak has fragmented and collapsed all on its own when it was unopposed. 2. The second example is a couple that struggles through many forms of adversity, getting the husband through college, sickness, and a badly timed pregnancy, financial problems, and family trouble. But eventually, they arrive at a point going well. It's then that they get a divorce. 3. The spiritual seeker who is making profound progress, only to backslide and behave very negatively. 4. The recent fall of the most successful cult leaders and television evangelists makes this case. 5. A successful business executive who makes it to the top of his profession then has a midlife identity crisis or a nervous breakdown and destroys it all. 6. A man who inherits wealth and destroys himself through dissipation. 7. An honest man who becomes a powerful politician and becomes very corrupt. In each of the 6 examples, once total success was obtained, there was no more challenge and destruction followed subconsciously. In each case, they desired to experience the challenge again. Unless you challenge yourself, you will stagnate. Now remember, you are energy, and stagnation is self-destruction, for energy cannot stand still. It must, by its very nature, move forward or backward. So instead of holding back from total success, but not complacency, always give yourself great new challenges. If you let the challenge go too far, self-destruction is the result. If you don't incorporate challenge in your life, self-destruction is the result. If you keep challenge in balance, you succeed in maintaining your position and retaining your success. The secret is to consciously direct challenge in a way that minimizes jeopardy while fulfilling the yin-yang need for balance. This will usually be accomplished by wise risking. Number 39. The law of environmental manifestation. It says that everything that surrounds you is an extension of you. Your mate, your home, your furnishings, your car, your pets, your yard, your office, and your queue are a physical expression of your attitudes and belief system. Your environment is a reality picture of your core beliefs and expresses your self-image and cultural overview. Number 40. The law of restriction. It says that man cannot create anything higher than his own level of understanding. Thus, society can never get any better than the level of mankind as a whole. Our systems for social change usually only add new burdens to already ineffective systems. Time has proven that this approach to a new society doesn't work, and our mistake is in trying to right the wrongs of the world from the outside in. This is working on the effect instead of the cause, and is doomed to failure. Instead, we must work from the inside out. Every one of us on this planet can incorporate the power of harmonious thinking, which is the only long-term solution to poverty and limitation. To heal the world, we must each first heal ourselves. Number 41. The law of self-worth. It says that you can only attract to you that which you feel worthy of. Your self-esteem is critical to your happiness and success. The truth is, you are not what you have, and you are not what you do. Beneath your fear programming, you are perfect, an enlightened soul, fully self-actualized, and a living example of unconditional love. It is only lifetimes of fear programming that are keeping you from acknowledging who you really are. The more you can let go of the fears, the higher your self-esteem, and the more options you will have, and the more risks you can take. The better you like yourself, the better others will like you, and the more worthy you will feel. Number 42. The law of growth. It says that there is no growth without discontent. Deep within your center, at the level of higher self, you know what is best for you, and it will always be to strive for more awareness. Never allow yourself to reach a level of self-satisfaction where there is no new challenge. For most of us, there will be no growth without agitation or discontent. So, the idea is to carefully study your dissatisfactions, for they will tell you what you are about to leave behind and possibly point to a new future direction. Make sure the future is one of happiness and success. Number 43. The law of self-truth. It says that truth is what works for you. If you believe something to be, it becomes truth for you. The idea is to be very careful about what you accept to be, for it will influence all aspects of your life and your future. Number 44. The law of summarized experience. It says that you are the sum total of all that has ever happened to you in this life you are now living and in all of your past. Everything, from your health to your relationships, your sexual experiences, your developed abilities, your career standing and everything else, can be used as a barometer to show who you are and to tell if your conscious and subconscious are functioning in harmony. Number 45. The law of belief. It says you can have anything you want if you can give up the belief that you can't have it, as long as what you want doesn't conflict with someone else's belief. For example, if you desire a fulfilling, growth-oriented one-to-one relationship but demand it to be with a particular person, you are not operating in harmony with the universe. Another example, in the area of accomplishment, you must leave the education necessary to create what you want. So, this is the area on which you should focus your desirous energy. Number 46. The law of dharmic direction. It says that you have within you a guiding principle which is your duty to yourself and society. Karma has directed your past life and present life experiences, always urging you to forge ahead into activities and learning experiences to form the character required to fulfill your destiny. Now, of course, you always have the free will not to fulfill your Dharma. But the secret is to listen to your inner direction, which will direct you to fulfill your Dharma and resolve your karma. Your dharmic direction is natural for you and probably falls within one of 7 directions. One is workforce, including a majority of general occupations, including homemakers. 2 is military, including soldiers in all forms of police and militia. Number 3 is service, including most religious workers, those in medical, social services, and welfare, and many practicing medical physicians. Number 4 is creativity, including artists, writers, poets, musicians, actors, and entertainers. Number 5 is science, including medical researchers, scientists, space technologists, and physicists. Number 6 is philosophy, including all who present theories about why man does what he does. Number 7 is government, including political leaders from the president on down through all areas of elected office. Number 47, the law of purifying action. It says that by living the 3 pillars of Dharma, you will spiritually evolve. The first pillar is generosity, meaning non-greed, letting go. The karmic results of generosity are abundance and deep harmonious relationships with others. The second pillar is moral restraint. This includes 5 basic precepts: not killing, not stealing, not committing sexual misconduct, not using wrong speech, not taking intoxicants which can cloud the mind and make it dull. As an explanation, sexual misconduct means refraining from actions of sensuality which cause pain and harm to others, or turbulence or disturbance in ourselves. Refraining from wrong speech means not only telling the truth, but avoiding a lot of useless and frivolous talk and gossip. Speech should be gentle, creating harmony and unity between people. The third pillar of Dharma is meditation, and it covers 2 areas. The first is concentration, the ability of the mind to stay steady on an object without wavering. The second is the cultivation of insight, which means to see clearly the process of things in the nature of Dharma. Number 48. The law of karmic excesses. It says that karma incurred in one incarnation could be so overwhelmingly harmonious or disharmonious that to have it all returned in one lifetime would put you out of balance. Therefore, it is dispersed or worked out in more than one incarnation. Number 49. The law of release. It advises you to let go of anything that is no longer useful and purposeful without regrets and without resentment. This includes such things as books, philosophy, clothing, beliefs, your lifestyle, even a club membership, and the list goes on. The pleasure should be in the moment of the experience, and when it's no longer useful, by letting go, you free yourself to start another learning experience without being bound by the old. Number 50. The law of ritual. It says that any act performed repeatedly with specific intent becomes a rite. Each time the ritual is repeated, its power is enhanced in 3 ways. First, by focusing on the intent, the performer intensifies the power of his mind to control reality. Second, the performer gives permission to his guides and those on the other side to assist him in the desired manifestation. And third, each performance of the rite draws upon the energy of all who have used the rite throughout all time. As an example, in using the pentacle rite of protection, the performer draws upon the energy of people over the centuries who have used this rite to ward off negativity. Thus, the power is increased manyfold. That concludes a quick look at the 50 primary universal laws. I hope you were served by the wisdom of this esoteric awareness.